guys, so I have gripes with WikiLeaks because, like you may have, I stayed up until 4 a.m. last week waiting for this crushing WikiLeaks dump that just turned out to be an extremely disorganized press conference where everyone took turns jerking off Julian Assange. There was a live audience of 115,000 people total, and they just squandered this opportunity to start the Podesta dump, and it really pissed everyone off. Nonetheless, the last 3 WikiLeaks dumps have been exactly what they were hyped up to be. But if it weren't for the hordes of amateur sleuths, no one would even know about this because WikiLeaks even releases spam emails and things like that. These emails are not in a digestible format. They aren't being released with the proper direction to the highlights, and WikiLeaks seems to think that everyone is digging through these, and if there is some big information, that it will just come out. But if the information is out there and no one can find it, then it doesn't really matter if it's even out there. So I enlisted some help on Twitter. A big thanks to Jim's Good Dog, my brother David Dumas, Jessica M., Bon Ortleff, Brianna Voggs, John O'Dare, and James Saros, who spent literally hours reading through these emails and searching keywords. We were able to read through around 2,000 of them probably, and the remainder of the research had to be done through keyword searches, subreddits, connecting with other people that have started to do the research as well. So I would really like to continue to break down WikiLeaks with each dump before the election, since there is as many as 50,000 more emails coming and they're really hard to sort through. So if you want to throw your hat in the ring and do some very, very, very important research, shoot me an email at blondeinthebellyofthebeast@gmail.com and we can coordinate. I initially started breaking down the emails by theme, and I had so much material under the category media collusion that I think this might be the most important aspect of these leaks. So today I want to go through some of the more egregious findings, of which there were literally hundreds. And there are many, many more that I did not find, we didn't find. So seriously, please get to sleuthing if you can. We found these by reviewing just over a third of what is out there. One of the first things I found was this odd email, and this didn't come up from keyword searches, it came up through manually reading the emails. So I think that's probably our best way to get through these. But I had some help on Twitter for figuring this one out, so thank you mzachary44 and some others for this. The initial message forwarded to Podesta is from Clinton attorney Dave Kendall to Cheryl Mills, who is a lawyer who first came into prominence while serving as deputy White House counsel for President Bill Clinton, whom she defended during his impeachment trial. She also served as chief of staff to Hillary Clinton during her tenure as Secretary of State and testified at the Benghazi hearing. Okay, so it says, just talked to Jennifer Duck about her favorite son. He's meeting with OSC, which is presumably the Office of Special Counsel, today, which is good and a step in the right direction, but nothing yet public. Jennifer said she'd heard, but second, third hand, and not from Son, that ICIG, the intelligence community inspector general, was handing out anti-Hillary clips to journalists. Have we gotten any inkling of this happening? I certainly haven't, and it seems weird. Okay, this might seem benign, but let me break down what I think is going on here. 2 Clinton attorneys deeply involved in all of their long-standing scandals dating back to the 90s, maybe before, are discussing whether or not CNN's Jennifer Duck, Anderson Cooper's 360 producer, has given them a heads up about the anti-Hillary videos being distributed to journalists by the Inspector General of the intelligence community, which I am sure is not permissible. Even if this was going on, from this communication, it is implied that CNN journalists and producers are in consistent communication with the Clinton campaign and that they're reporting back to them. There are multiple references to the son as well, which I think is very likely Anderson Cooper, since he is the son of very prominent Gloria Vanderbilt, and Jennifer Duck, who's mentioned by name, is his CNN producer. Why is journalist Anderson Cooper, called by the Clinton lawyers the favorite son, meeting with the U.S. Office of Special Counsel? He has obviously been working with the campaign for a long time to have earned that nickname. So the U.S. Office of Special Counsel is an independent federal investigative and prosecutorial agency responsible for facilitating disclosures of wrongdoing in the federal government. So Anderson Cooper, unbiased moderator of the last debate, is literally a Clinton-owned, Clinton-operated shill doing their bidding and whistleblowing at their direct command. The Clintons own CNN. Of course, this is just a theory, but I think it's pretty solid. And if that wasn't bad enough, there is tons of correspondence between the Clinton campaign and writers and editors from, get this, the Washington Post, the New York Times, the New York Daily News, Daily Mail, Weekly Standard, Politico, Bloomberg, HuffPo, MSNBC, and that's just what I could find. You name it, it's unbelievable. Many of these conversations are about Clinton's input on articles that were a collaborative effort, which obviously were not portrayed as so, or are about directing concerted attacks against Sanders, even how best to manipulate the American public using Clinton-influenced propaganda to distract from Hillary's crimes. Although not surprising, the New York Times is one of the most common outlets to appear in the Podesta emails. One of the most telling email subject lines is, reply, "Hi Angel and Tina, running stuff by you regarding Clinton-Trump story in tomorrow's New York Times." As you can already guess, this is an email from New York Times Patrick Healy, who is getting approval for a story that he is running the next day. One could say that they were just fact-checking, but the troubling bit about this is the response email between Josh Schwerin? I don't know. And Jennifer Palmieri of the Clinton campaign, who asked, quote, "Are we working on this story on our end?" I think that this is an undeniable admission that the Clinton campaign and the New York Times have been collaboratively writing articles with specific information placed to manipulate the public. If the Clinton campaign had never done this, why would they be asking if this time they are also working on this story with the New York Times? Huffington Post somehow is equally as bad, with Brent Badowski outright telling Hillary what to say at a speech. Quote, "Let me simply suggest the following. 1. In her speech next Saturday, I would strongly suggest that Clinton express her admiration for Pope Francis, the man with 77 approval according to Pew, and his calls for economic justice and addressing the threat to the earth of climate change. And 2, Clinton should announce a campaign tour of red and purple states, including visits to West Virginia, preferably alongside Jay Rockefeller, Kentucky, and Georgia, to disabuse certain people of the false dichotomy that some in the media and groups like the Third Way are spreading." One of the researchers also found an email where HuffPo gives the campaign a heads up about some information coming out, and I've linked that one below. We also now know from these leaks that Clinton hates everyday Americans. She doesn't feel that it is unethical to manipulate the masses through coercion of mainstream media outlets and journalists because she literally hates us. We need to uncover everything we can from the Podesta emails. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and I've linked everything that my sources found below in the description. So once again, if you're willing to do any research for my upcoming videos, please email me at blondeinthebellyofthebeast@gmail.com and we can get to work. Thanks, I'll see you guys soon.